You know what the problem is? Sometimes people don't hang out with people that are smarter than them. And you think you're the smartest person, or maybe because he's running this company.
When you just learn something, you don't have the metadata, you don't have the capacity to understand. Yeah, I think the best thing to do when you're reaching out and building your YouTube, because collaborations is the fastest way to grow your subscribers. That is what it is. But do it in a way.
Ruslan.
All right, so there's a lot of different issues that people have when they want to become YouTube creators. There's just the practicality of learning video and learning editing and all that stuff. That's one side of it. But I think the deeper side of it is knowing who you are, knowing who you're not, knowing how to communicate. And this is the last part, and we're going to hit all this today, how to properly build relationship where you don't look like a complete thirst bucket, okay? This is an important one, okay? Because a lot of you guys do this. Guys, some of you guys do this to me. We're going to come back to that thought, okay? But there's this clip from Joe Rogan talking about the Liver King, and he makes some really good points. And then the last point I think is the most practical, and there's going to be some very needed we're going to have some hard conversations today, okay? Let's jump into this clip. So this is from when he had More Plates, More Dates on, and they're talking, the video is called Joe Asks Derek About Exposing Liver King's PED Use.
You know what the problem is? Sometimes people don't hang out with people that are smarter than them. And you think you're the smartest person, or maybe because he's running this company, people have to listen to him. So he's got this distorted perception of his ability to communicate and his ability to, convince people. That was so theatrical and so corny.
I don't know how, what kind of thought process went into that. There was some sort of ROI calculation on, if I lie, what is the probability I get outed versus how viral can I go?
So what they're talking about is Liver King lying about taking steroids.
Yep.
He's on a huge run of interviews right now. He was just on Schultz, right? And they're talking about this media side and him just kind of having to count the cost of if I lie about this, then I won't look like the guy that plays this character, and then that will negatively impact the perception of these 9 ancestral tenants.
Yeah. Yep.
And then ultimately his supplements going up.
Exactly. And kind of just the meme. The meme of him getting super jacked and then being able to deny. It's got to be somewhere in there.
Yes. Yes. And Derek from More Plates, More Dates is the guy who compiled all the information, spent a month researching it, and dropped the video basically exposing that he had been lying this whole time about taking performance enhancement bugs. We're not going to say that the word because he's going to get demonetized.
I just don't know how his team, especially with the information out there, thought that it was going to be a net win where it's probably never going to come out.
Does he have a team?
Yeah, it's pretty elaborate. His team was, he has a media team that he hired to kind of
Right, but they're just employees. Yeah. One of them came up to me in Vegas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of my security guards stopped him. He was like, I'm a producer for the Liver King. I'm like, what the fuck do you produce? What do you produce?
That's funny.
But so he's the guy. So remember I talked about there's a couple ways you guys can do it on YouTube, right? There's the, hey, let me learn the craft and the storytelling and provide a net value based on my expertise.
Yep.
And then the other side is, let me go crush it in another area. Yeah. And then hire a team of people to get me popping as a social media figure. Yeah. This would be the Ryan Pineda, Alex Hermosi route, right? It's kind of two different ways. One side is you're a practitioner, you're really immersed in it, you're hands-on. I was sitting here editing video, and you're like, why are you editing video? Chris is here. And I'm like, I don't know, I just started working, right?
Yeah.
So there's that side of it. And then there's the other side of you're booming for doing something else, you crush it in something else, and then you can hire a team elaborately to do all the stuff for you and have a producer and have a media guy, right? But they're all just employees doing stuff for you.
Yes, they're just filling a gap. They're filling a hole.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
It's not a movie.
How many UFC events?
It's not a
It's
movie.
not a movie.
Oh, man, this dude's roasting the
That's
Liver King and
hilarious.
his team.
Brian kind of cozy up.
He was front row at one of my shows in Vegas.
Oh, damn.
At the MGM. Yeah, and then I saw him again at the Canelo fight. He was trying really hard to get on the podcast.
Gross. Bro, there is probably no other relationship in media today that could be more heartbreaking to hear secondhand on another podcast that you burnt that bridge. Essentially. Joe Rogan's just laying out his producer tried to come up to me, and then he bought front row tickets to multiple of my shows. So he saw the same set multiple times. And then it was sitting front row at the MGM Grand.
Hoping to get noticed.
Yeah, hoping to be if I get ancestrally get into his space, ancestrally, I will be able to connect with him through brainwaves, and we will be able to get on the podcast with Joe Rogan.
Yeah. If Joe just knew me, he would love to have me on.
If Joe understood that I'm on the same PEDs that he is on, we could bond and possibly go, and I like comedy. Comedy is funny. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing, right? He's like, I go to many comedy shows and I sit front row. So Joe, I'm a fan.
Yeah, laugh. One of the ancestral tenets is to laugh.
It's the laugh.
It's to laugh. Okay, play the rest of this.
He's been trying really hard to get on now. He contacted a few friends of mine.
Oh,
Some of them that have, like Bert Kreischer, that had him on the show.
Yeah, he told me he's trying to get on.
Yeah, for what? For what? Say that more? Like, come on, this is dumb, man. This is you ran a con game and you got busted. Yeah. And it's unfortunate that you feel terrible. I'm sorry you feel bad. Because that's just what happens when you get caught lying. But you didn't have to lie.
Yeah, like, I don't even see how bad it would have been if from the get-go he was like, it's not the
I'm on
healthiest.
hormone replacement.
Yeah, but like, I understand the not wanting to talk about the other shit because he was on Winstrol.
Yeah, he wasn't just on TRT.
Yeah.
He was on growth hormone, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, $12,000.
High amounts of GH, etc., which is not ancestrally consistent, but neither is HRT.
Ancestrally consistent.
Because it's like, well,
right.
If your diet was so dialed, like, why is it that you don't have like adequate testicular function or adequate hormone output or this or that? And it's just like, I guess
Never been in a position where another man is asking you if you have adequate testicular function.
Testicular function.
Unless it's your doctor.
Bruh.
just like spit in the face of his message too much that he couldn't wrap his head around justifying coming out and saying, I'm on HRT, but do this other stuff.
So 2 macro ideas. 1, be congruent, be authentic. Don't put yourself in a corner where you get exposed as something that you're not.
Yes.
Right? Like you get exposed. He got exposed for in a way being a fraud, right?
Yeah.
And this is where the authenticity side of it is huge.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are wanting to present themselves with this certainty and this dogmatic message on these platforms.
Yeah.
And you play yourself because that's not really you.
Yes.
Get comfortable with sharing your vulnerabilities and your weaknesses. And 2, get comfortable with saying, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And also it's like, I think some people try to start a YouTube channel prematurely.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, I'm not saying that Liver King didn't have an adequate knowledge, but obviously he wanted to lie about it. But how this applies for the audience is like, people want like the idea of creating content and starting a YouTube show, but they don't want to acknowledge the fact that they don't know enough. And so, or they want to start a YouTube channel on a topic that they don't know enough when they probably should be starting about something else.
Yep.
You know, and it also kind of goes back to like the niche training a little bit, like what you're saying about being authentic and like kind of knowing explain the Dunning-Kruger effect. I think that's a helpful one. For
So
the
the Dunning-Kruger effect is basically a chart that describes how people who know the least about a said topic often are the most confident about a said topic. And so you're exaggerating an unnecessary bravado because you just learned it. So whenever you learn something, you get excited about it, right?
Yeah.
And you get excited about it. And so, but when you just learn something, you don't have the metadata, you don't have the capacity to understand everything you don't know about said topic.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think therein lies, I'm not saying he was doing this with his 9 ancestral tenets.
Yeah.
I'm just saying when people get into the creator space, they learn something new and then they think they know everything there's to know about said topic, and then they create a channel around it, which could be very problematic.
Which ties into like the authenticity side of things, like knowing what you're doing.
Like if you're gonna be an expert in said field, make sure you know everything you don't know about said field.
Yeah,
and be humble in that. And also lean on other people's authority if you don't know, and how you come to knowledge and how you come to truth is also very important. And so a lot of folks do. It's all over Christian TikTok. Like if you guys want to know the Dunning-Kruger effect, 18, 19-year-olds trying to teach you about like Calvinism, right? Man. That's the Dunning-Kruger effect. They don't understand all the arguments and all the opposing views, and they really just learned it. So that it's Dunning-Kruger effect is I'm regurgitating what I just learned. It's not.
Yes.
I've implemented it, lived it for decades, and now I'm showing you the full scope picture. Right.
100%. I think the biggest L Liver King took here is just burning a bridge with Joe Rogan.
Yeah, and that's the bigger issue that I see creators that get a little bit of momentum going. They got some momentum, they got some good uploads, is reaching out too soon and being entitled to other people's platforms too early when you don't really have anything of value to present.
Yep.
right? And so like in the case of a Liver King and a Joe Rogan, like Joe Rogan, arguably biggest podcast in the world, and even though Liver King has an audience, it doesn't have the depth of Rogan's audience, nor does it have the just a sheer size of Rogan's audience. So he's not really presenting himself in a valuable way. And asking, whenever you're asking to come on someone else's platforms, it's just yucky.
You have to know how the platform works.
Yes.
Like certain channels and podcasts are like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know which ones. And that's like, it seems like that is your legwork that you have to do.
Yep.
But it seems like Joe Rogan is very clearly a relational one. And he himself has to be interested in the conversation to sit down for 2 or 3 hours.
Right.
And this dude, Liver King, ended up, asking friends. And that just goes to show, like, if you know somebody, somebody and you ask their friends to get on their show, it's going to get back to that person.
Yep. Yeah, I think the best thing to do when you're reaching out and building your YouTube, because collaborations is the fastest way to grow your subscribers. That is what it is. But do it in a way where, one, you're invited and or it's relational. And then two, don't always look to go on the bigger platform. Oftentimes, you'll get more value out of going on a platform your own size or even smaller than you would off of going on a bigger platform.
Yep.
And so when you're inviting yourself on bigger platforms, it's just not a good idea. But it's totally different. Like if you reach out to someone kind of in the same area as you in terms of size, views, growth, it feels more of a mutually beneficial situation.
Yeah.
So look for that win-win when you're attempting to collaborate. And this happens to me all the time. Like people will DM me and ask me to, and I'm like, bro, I've never heard of you. I don't know who you are. I don't.
Yep.
But within my own niche, meaning if it's YouTube, Christian YouTube, or Christian hip hop, I know everybody.
Yeah.
If you're making Christian YouTube videos, I probably have seen your channel. Even if you have a couple thousand subscribers, even if you got less than 1,000 subscribers, we see everything.
That's very true.
And usually I'm the one to reach out very early on. Not for a collab, but because I just want to encourage you and help you, right?
Yeah.
But if I were to reach out and then you ask me for a collab, I might even do it. But most folks aren't even in the place to benefit from it.
Yeah.
Because if you have 10 videos, you know what I mean? Like you've done 10 videos, 20 videos, 30 videos, you got 1,000 subscribers, 2,000 subscribers. It's not even going to be a net positive for you to collaborate with me.
You don't want to get a push.
Yeah.
And then when those people, the fan of a Ruslan KD goes to your channel, you end up not having enough bingeable content.
Yep.
Because if someone really loves your stuff and then you have 10 videos or you have 15 videos, right? And people are getting through it in a day or 2 days, whatever.
Yep.
They're not going to be, and if you're not uploading a lot, your quality isn't there, you bounce.
Yep.
Yep.
So I think there's so much here with this whole debacle with Liver King with regards to one, the authenticity, congruence bit, not lying to your audience, right? That's one side of it. Because I think this, especially this next generation with the Gen Z kids, like they're the most marketed to generation ever.
Yeah.
And they don't want another facade of
Don't play me.
Don't do that. And then two, how and when to reach out, collaborate, the tactfulness in that has a lot of folks out here just completely playing themselves and embarrassing themselves.
Yeah, looking bad. You have that one point on authenticity that I always thought was really good, but it's something with like you don't share what's going on currently in your life.
Yeah.
That's not being vulnerable. That's like
So vulnerable versus intimate.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
intimate is like this is happening right now, right? Like I had a moment with Zoe this morning, and I'm
gonna vlog it.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna vlog it.
Put my whole life out there.
Right. Or I'm gonna come on here and talk about it. Right.
Yeah.
Like usually there's certain moments that are for your private personal life. There's certain things that if you're a Christian, God's sharing with you for you.
Yes.
Not for you to go and tell everybody on YouTube. Everybody get a word and a new revelation and this and that's like, bro, God may just be showing things to you right now. So that's the intimate side. Your marriage. Don't go and talk about what you just had a conversation with your wife about and then make a video about it or talk about it on a pod.
And then like you're a marriage counselor on YouTube.
Yes. But vulnerable and transparent and authentic is like, I'm going to show you my scars. I'm going to show you the areas I feel inadequate. I'm going to show you the other.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Liver King fell short. And we'll look at a video later where Schultz basically says that, like, bro, you became a caricature of masculinity without showing us the vulnerability to connect with us in a human level. And he does this on Schultz's podcast that we'll look at later.
What a trip.
And it's actually really good. Like it's really, really, really good. And then you go, whoa, okay. that's different. Like that's refreshing to hear him talk like that.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is like the end of Liver King. Like I think he could definitely turn this around.
He's chilling.
And
But there's always a lesson for YouTube creators.
There's a lot of lessons here for YouTube creators.
Yes.
Yep. Hey, if you want to successfully start your YouTube channel, I'm running a free 2-day challenge for you. During these 2 days, I'll be pulling back the curtain on some of the particulars of what it took to grow my main channel to over 240,000 subscribers and laying out a blueprint of how you can do something similar. And to prove that this isn't some dated strategy that I only used on my main channel, I'll also explain how I did it for my second channel in the last few months, growing it to over 50,000 subscribers and having it generate about $5,000 a month on average. I know there's a whole lot going on around the holidays, you're busy, but if you want to approach your YouTube channel with a strategy and a system that's proven, sign up for this free 2-day challenge below. You can sign up by clicking the link in the description or the pinned comment below.